Hello, and welcome to day 19 of Practical English for Finance and Banking. Don't forget to be thinking about your topics for your presentations. As I mentioned before, you can choose from any of these topics, and of course, for things like fraud, there's bank fraud, check fraud, identity fraud, real estate fraud, many different types there, as well as like conflict of interests. There would be a lot of different types there. Foreclosure could be like home loans or also business foreclosures. Forgery, there's many different types of that. There's art forgery, check forgery, counterfeiting with currency. So there's all different types of problems here, so I don't think we'll have any trouble with all of you finding something different to talk about. So think about those topics, and again, if you want to work by yourself, you may do so. If you prefer to work in a group, you may do so in a group of 2 or 3 people. And I will leave that up to you. It's going to be your choice whether you want to work alone or with other people. That will be completely your choice. Now, I know that some of you want to work with a group, but maybe you don't have friends in the class, and obviously it's a little bit harder to form teams right now because you're not on campus. Feel free to use the group chat to talk to other people. If, for example, if there's a topic that you are interested in, but you want to work with somebody else, post it in the main chat. Just say, hey, I'm interested in doing a presentation on this. Would somebody be interested in doing it with me? That's what the group chat is for, okay? You guys can send messages in there as well. If you want to talk to somebody privately, then I cannot actually start a private conversation with somebody, but if you send me a private message with your information, then I can send an email or a text message or something to that person. If there's somebody you're wanting to talk to, but you don't feel comfortable posting it in the main chat. Or if you're comfortable, you can put your own email address or Kakao ID in the main chat if you want to, so that other people have an easy way to contact you. Okay, so think about those. I'd like to get the groups formed by the end of the week. So let me look at the schedule again, and maybe either this Thursday or next Monday we'll do a Zoom class just to make sure that everybody that needs a group has a group, and that we start getting an idea of the topics that you want to present. Okay. Now today we're going to be looking at Unit 3, which is operating an account, and here they're talking about what in the British they call a current account. And hold on, because Zoom has just closed on me. Okay, sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened to Zoom. In the UK they call a current account, and in the US we would call a checking account. Okay, that's basically what this chapter is referring to. So let's take a look at the first section of Chapter 3 here. Operating an account. Part A says match the formal phrases on the left with the informal phrases on the right. So over here, these are like the official terminology, maybe the bank terminology, and on the right side is more just common language, everyday terms. So we'll start on the left here and read this one and then find the matching one over here. So number 1, I deposited some money. If you make a deposit, that is you paid in some money, or you put in some money. Here I would probably say I put in. If I'm making a deposit, I wouldn't say I paid in, but I would say I put in some money. Maybe that's a British term there, paid in. To me, if I paid in some money, that's for a bill or a donation or something like that, not depositing money into my own account. Number 2, I withdrew some money means I took out some money. I withdrew, I took out. Number 3, the funds have been transferred. Funds, money. The funds have been transferred. That is, the money's been sent. Now here, if it's transferred, that's more of an electronic transfer, so it could be sent electronically. Also, if you write a check and send it through the mail, that would not be a transfer, but you could say the money's been sent. Or in the US, if you owe some money and they're waiting on payment, the common expression, the check is in the mail. Because the mail service takes a few days, so people would use this to what we call buy time, to sort of delay, or to buy time. You tell your landlord or creditor, oh, I'm sorry, the check is in the mail. The money is on the way. And they're like, oh, okay. And then that would give you a few more days before they would contact you again. So that's a very common saying. You'll hear that in a lot of movies or TV shows set. Not so much now, but a little bit in the past. That would be a very common expression. Number 4, my account is overdrawn means that I'm in the red. I'm in the red. That means, remember, the red means you have a negative balance. Number 5, it's paid by standing order. It goes out of my account every month. That's more of a British term, the standing order. I would just say it's a recurring payment. Means every month it happens again and again and again. A recurring payment. Number 6, my account was debited. If it's debited, that means, if my account is debited, that means money went out of my account. It was subtracted from my account, debited. If my account is credited, that means money was added to my account, so it went into my account. Number 8, I used an ATM, I went to a cash point. Again, that's more British. In the US, we would just probably say I used an ATM, or a money machine would be very common. And that's probably even like regional in the US, maybe people in certain areas, certain locations, may use different terminology, use a different phrase. Number 9, I made a balance inquiry, means I checked my balance. Okay, an inquiry, or I think you would be able to spell that with an I in Q-U-I-R-Y in the US, to inquire, to check your balance. Okay, so I think those are pretty simple. Let's move to the next section here. Match the words with the parts of the check. And this is a British check. Okay, this is not American style. But in the US, we would spell check, C-H-E-C-K, normally. Especially if we're talking about a checking account. This is how it would be spelled. Okay, and I will admit I'm not as familiar with British checks because I've never actually used one or seen one. But they have some different terms here that we have on American checks, but they're in a little different location, and the check design or the layout on the check is a little bit different. So the things we're looking for here are the account number, the amount in figures, that means in numbers, in digits, the amount in words, check number, logo, payee, signature, and a sort code. Okay, that is like a processing number for when the check is written. Then it goes through processing systems to go to the correct bank and the account number. That's what the sort code, to divide things or separate them in a certain order. Okay, so before we answer these, let's look at some examples. So here is a check from the UK, a basic sample. Up here we have the bank, the high street, that's the name of the bank. We have a sort code up in this corner, and also it's the middle number down here at the bottom. On the left side is the check number, and then we have the account number on the right side here. There's a place for the date. Pay, this is the person you are paying. You write the amount, here's the pound symbol. You write the amount in figures, in numbers, and the amount in words over here. And then this is the account holder's name, and their signature goes right here. So if we look at one that is completed, we have the date here, 159. And I'm guessing in the UK, I'm thinking this would be the 1st of May 2009, I believe. This is paid to QUB Dragon Slayers, QUB Dragon Slayers. So this is who you are paying. And then how much? 10. And then instead of a decimal point, they've got this line here, sort of a slash with the zeros after it. So it's an even 10 pounds, or I could say 10 pounds even. There's no pence with that. And then this says 10 pounds only. That only means there's nothing after the 10 pounds. Okay, it's an even 10 pounds. And then notice they fill in the rest of this line with a long long line, so that nobody can add anything or alter it, or change it in some way. To alter something means to change it, to modify it in some way. So that's why they use this long line here, is to prevent somebody from editing or changing the numbers here. And then we have a signature here, J. Smith. Okay. Here's a more realistic looking one. We have this sort code up here, 010203. That is down here in these like machine readable numbers. Machine readable numbers. So these are designed so that computers can easily read them. We have the check number here, 243, and the account number. Okay. The date here, yeah, this would definitely be day, month, year. So it's day, month, year. So it goes from the smallest to the medium size to the largest. Pay, Wikimedia Foundation, 100 pounds only. And again, they use the line here to fill in the blank, and 100, and then that long sort of slanted line instead of a decimal point, and the zeros. And signed by John Jones. Account holder name, Mr. John Jones, and his signature right here. So if we look at this a little bit closer, let me slide this over a bit, there we go. These are parts of a check based on a UK example. So number one here is the drawee. The drawee is the financial institution, the bank basically, where the check can be presented for payment. Number two is the payee. Payee is the person or company that is being paid. 3 is the date of issue. That's the date the check is written, 22/01/2006. Number 4 is the amount of currency. So number 4, 100 pounds, even. Number 5 is the drawer, like a withdrawal if you're drawing money out. The drawer is the person or the entity, like a company, making the check. Okay, so that's the printed name here, and then their signature, the signature of the drawer. And down here at the bottom, notice we have this machine readable routing and account information. So these numbers are only read by a machine at the bank. Okay, let's look at another one here. This is from RBS. We saw them in our video. The Royal Bank of Scotland. Oh, I'm sorry, the video was in a different class, not your class. And they have the address here, 3812, so the 30th of August, 2012. Pay expert print, £400 and 63 pence only. So they use the only here to, that's like almost like a period, or saying, okay, that's it, nothing else can be added. So £400, so they have £400 and 63 pence. So they separate these with these two lines. That is to prevent somebody from adding another digit or adding another zero. And they have, of course, the signature here. On this check, again, we see the sort code up here, and that's it down in the bottom here. The check number on the left, and then the account number here. All right. And here's one from a company called Clean Ease, not Clean X. It looks like it's probably copied from that, maybe. Date 13/07/2006. So the 13th of July 2006. Pay Mr. P. Tonkin, £3,042 and 38 pence. Now notice here, in the UK, in the US we'd say 3,042 something, 3,042. In the UK, this 3,042 pounds, from what my former coworker told me, this is very common. This is what is taught. 3,042 pounds and 38 pence. Okay. And then, of course, we have down here at the bottom the company name and address. Now, this sample does not have the account numbers and everything on it like the others did. Okay, so if we come back to the exercises here, this is from the Central and Eastern Bank. And the payee, the person that is getting paid, is John Marks. This is the logo of Central and Eastern Bank, that little image, the drawing. Down here we have £122 and 50p only, 50 pence only. That's the amount in words, and then in figures, 122 and 50 pence. Down here at the bottom, this first number is the check number. Then we have the sort code, and this one is the account number. And then, of course, we have the signature. So this is Liz Allen's account. She's the one that is making the payment here. If we look at the bottom part here, who has this check been made out to? It's made out to John Marks. Has it been signed and dated? Here's the date, and here's the signature, so yes. Is it crossed or uncrossed? That refers to, you see these two lines here? If those two lines are there, then it is crossed. Okay, if they're not there, then it is uncrossed. Can it be paid into somebody else's account? Because it has been crossed here and it says A/C payee, that means no. It can only go into this account because these lines are here. It's been crossed. Now let's take a look at an example of a check from the US. The bank name and logo go down here in this section. And this is from Bank of America, and this is their logo. And there would normally be an address here, at least a city and a state. In the top left corner is the customer's name, the account holder's name, street address, and city, state, and zip code. Okay. So here you would write the name of the person or the company you want to pay, pay to the order of. Okay, put that person here. Write the date you're writing the check. Okay, so month, day, and then year after this. Okay. It is technically illegal to write a check for a different date, so be very, very careful with that. In this box here, they already have the $sign. So inside the box, you need to write the amount of the check using numbers, dollars and cents. And then, let me skip to this line, write the amount of the payment using letters in English, words. And write the cents like a dollar fraction, a fraction. So something over 100. If you do not need all the space, fill in the rest with a line. And this line here says for, says write in this space the reason for the payment, or write the account number of utility or a service, etc., that you are paying. You don't have to write something here, okay? But for example, if you're making a mortgage payment or a student loan payment, a credit card payment, in this box you would want to write the account number, your credit card number, or your savings account number. All right, and then on this line, always sign your checks the same way, because the bank has a copy of your signature. That's to help protect your money and your identity. Okay, so let's look and see what this actually looks like. So, if we wanted to write a check today, we could write May 18, 2020. So in the US, we would write month. Normally, this varies from person to person, but normally we write month, day, year. So May 18, 2020. Pay to the order of, the name of the person you're paying, Hong Gildong, and the amount, $123 and 45/100ths. And that's how we would write that, 123 and 45/100ths. So we still write that as a fraction over 100. And the extra space here that we don't need, we fill in with a line. Okay. Normally this would be a solid line, and a lot of times maybe a wavy line. Okay. 4, I just put kimchi there, just because who doesn't like kimchi? And then you would sign your check. This information is printed. A signature should actually look like a signature. Okay, and this name must match this name. So here it said your name, so that's what I put here, your name. If we look at a blank one here, the account holder is John Smith, 123 My Street, anywhere IL is short for Illinois, like Chicago, Illinois, the zip code, and then the phone number. We have just a blank line for a date. It does not include, a lot of them have like the century pre-printed, 19 or 20, okay. We have the date, pay to the order of, that means pay this person. a box for the numbers, and then a blank line, and then it says digits, or I'm sorry, dollars. 4, this is, the 4 line is sometimes called a memo line, like a memorandum, a note to yourself, why you wrote it, and then signature, okay? So if we wanted to fill this out, we'd write May 18, 2020, or in the US, it would be common to write 5/18/20, month, day, year, and we can separate those by dashes, or some people would even separate those by, slashes or dashes, okay? Both are common, 5/18/20, or you could write month, day, year, and you could even write like 18 May 2020. Okay, that would also be correct. Pay to the order of, let's use a different name here, John Doe. Okay, the person you're writing to, first and last name, $100. Now, notice if I put the $100 centered in the box like that, it would be really easy for someone to add a 5 here. Okay, to make it $5,100. So you don't want to do that. You want to prevent them from doing something like this. So you'd move this, you'd start writing here all the way at the left edge of the box so that they can't just add digits in here. Same with writing the amount on the line. You'd start on the left-hand side and come all the way across. If you don't need all of the space, then you would fill that in with a line. Okay. Now this is $100, or you could say $100 even, $100 and no cents. And that's how we write it here, 100 and no hundredths, dollars. So here's the dollars, so we don't need to write the word dollars over here. So it's $100 and no fraction of a dollar, no hundredths of a dollar. I just put here for a birthday gift, and then if my name is John Smith, I would have to sign John Smith. Okay. Now, if it's a large office or company, then other people may have the ability to sign checks or something, and that is also fine if they are authorized to do so. Okay, so this is a blank check. All right, so this is one that you can just sort of play with and experiment, and we will talk about this more next time. And we will finish up the exercises on the back of Chapter 3. Have a good afternoon. I'll see you on Thursday.